Good morning. A very warm welcome to a fresh episode of Policy Square, jointly hosted by Primus Partners in support with Business World, with an aim to bring the new and innovative thoughts from the thought leaders, both in administration and in the politics, to share their views and the initiatives that they've undertaken with the broader audience in the nation. In our latest episode, we have the honor of being joined by a young, vibrant, and dynamic Indian politician who's currently a member of the 17th Lok Sabha, Shri Lavu Sri Krishna, who has previously served as the Human Resource Development Standing Committee and since 2021 has been an active participant on various committees, including the Committee on Public Undertakings, Committee on Education, Women, Child, Youth and Sports, and Consultative Committee on Animal Husbandry, Dairy and Fisheries. In 2022, he was appointed as a member of the Joint Committee on Multi-State Cooperative Societies Bill 2022. He is widely recognized for his fervent advocacy on behalf of the people of Andhra Pradesh and Palnadu district and his proactive engagement in the parliament affairs with a particular emphasis on education. So we are very honored to have you, sir, here today with us. So good morning, sir. Sir, Andhra Pradesh has always been at the forefront of transformation, whether it is on urban or even education for that matter, and information technology. So we would be very keen to hear from you as to what Honorable CM has thought of in terms of the transformation in the field of education, especially with respect to the skilling as well as the employability, with the foundation being sown at the early ages.
So there are three things that you're talking about. First of all, good morning to you. So education being primary, secondary, and the higher education. Coming to the school education per se, there's a lot of demand from the people of Andhra Pradesh to have good quality education, not just from the private institutes, but actually from the government institutes, government schools as well. So that we have realized that because if you see the amount that a parent is spending, husband or wife are spending their monthly income, the first one actually goes to their household things, the second one goes to the education. So that's what we have realized, that the importance that people of Andhra Pradesh give for education. So based on that, instead of funneling all of them into private institutes, there is a huge push to actually better the government infrastructure, government institutes, government schools and everything. Based on that, there are number of activities that have been unfolded by Government of Andhra Pradesh in the last 3.5 years to 4 years. The number one being, coming to the school education, number one being Nadu Nedu, wherein we are refurbishing all the schools, across the state, wherever the student strength is at least to some extent reasonable. So we have identified those schools and we are refurbishing them, giving the basic infrastructure, guaranteed basic infrastructure, so that the student doesn't have to move to the private school. And also we're making sure that enough teachers are present in the schools. So that is the one major push that has been doing. And the second one being, you might be knowing, this is a pioneering scheme that has been launched by Vice Rashekar Reddy garu when in 2005-06. Being that we have seen a lot of students who have passed out of school but not actually going and doing their higher education. So the scheme that he has come up with was a fee reimbursement. So any student can go to any college across the state and he can pursue his engineering or medicine, whatever you want, degree or anything, and the fee will be reimbursed by the government to the private institute. These two initiatives are doing great job in the state of Andhra Pradesh, if you see that. And we being a knowledge hub, basically, if you see in the last 25-30 years, that's what our forte is, that's where our growth is, Andhra Pradesh being, wherein number of people that are immigrating to other countries, number of people that are like Satya Nadella and all these people occupying the highest positions. So that is our forte. So there's a big push in the education front in the last 3.5-4 years.
So since the whole COVID episode, there is a significant influx of devices in the homes, as well as the inclusion of digital in every part of our lives, professional, personal, education being wrong. And you talked about the Nara Naidu program, the mission that you've launched, which deals with digitization of the school. Just give us a view on, and you know, if you look at across the country, there is a lot of smart classroom like initiatives are going on, but each have met with different levels of successes. But the program that you mentioned, Nara Naidu, has seen good successes. So just uh, give us some more insights about this program. How did the state go about implementing this? Something that the nation can learn from.
Nadu Nedu and digital, connection are completely two different things. Nadu Nedu is where we are doing actual physical infrastructure, basic infrastructure in the schools, making sure they have the basic furniture, the you know benches and everything available, the basic things like class boards and everything available, and also equipping the teachers with the right infrastructure, so that the student actually, girl child or boy child, doesn't have to feel uncomfortable coming to a school. So that is what Nadu Nedi is doing. But what you are asking is about the digital
Yeah, as it
initiative.
has become very integral to education system. So how are you looking at digitization as part of this
Digitization
program?
will be successful only when the actual classroom teaching gets better. You cannot replace digitization cannot replace the actual classroom teaching.
Absolutely.
So I personal belief is, how much ever devices you give to the student, unless the teacher actually spends enough time, quality time, prepares herself, himself, and come to the class and teach them in the class to the student. Um Only after all these things are done, then for revision, this digital
Of course.
devices can be useful when they go back home. Okay, I have to revise whatever I've studied, or whatever I've learned in that school that day or that week. Only then these digital devices will be useful, but never can replace
The physical
the
classroom.
physical ones. So we must be seeing for the last 6 to 8 months the huge drop in all these big edtech firms
Yes.
revenues. So because parents also believe that learning, actually going to the school, is completely different, rather than sitting in front of a screen and actually learning is completely different. So I believe that we have to strengthen the teaching teaching and learning as much as possible. Only this, when this is strengthened, you can actually implement all these digital devices to the student.
So you talked about the strengthening of the overall education infrastructure, physical infrastructure, and also the role that digitization can play to support this. There is also a lot of conversation about, especially this new age when new models or technologies are coming up. Um, and we are talking about employability at that young age level as to skilling in the education level. So there has to be this continuity and this continuous evolution of the curriculum, etc. So what is it that the state is doing in the direction of really making it seamless as the child educates himself or herself and gets prepared for a professional world?
The basic thing that's happening is, if you look at the ACER results and everything,
Mm-hmm.
the reading and writing capacities of the children, by the time they reach class 3, class 5, if you check it out, across the country, mainly in the government schools, it's not been up to the mark. That's what the ACER results is showing. So instead of looking too far ahead, saying like, I'll make this student employable and all these things, let's focus on the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make him actually read and write properly
Mm-hmm.
for his age, rather than trying to teach. There are so many institutes. Even I think even in Delhi they are there, wherein they try to teach IT
At the
classes
young
in
age.
the class of 7th or 8th. It's all nonsense. Instead, let's focus on the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus on making sure that the student
The
actually
foundation.
have the good foundation. And while you're doing that, make sure that the teacher is equipped to teach the child in a way that he's more learning while doing, instead of just a class board and a rote mode of learning. So in that direction, yes, there is a small baby steps that state government is trying to take, wherein they're training the teachers to making sure that they go to the class prepared, and they go to the class with the live models, so that student can actually understand while, because he is actually doing and everything. So, and also equipping the, as I mentioned earlier, equipping the laboratories. If you go to the government schools, most of the times labs are not up to the mark.
Up to the mark.
Making sure the labs are up to the mark, so that the student can actually go and experiment this. So all in all, I believe we are in the right direction, wherein we are actually concentrating on the basics of reading, learning, and making sure that the teacher goes to the class prepared.
So true to its image, Andhra Pradesh has always been a thought leadership and a trailblazer in anything it does, education being one of them. Today you did talk about how laying the foundation with a very strong physical infrastructure for school is concerned, the quality of education, digitization, as well as preparing the student for future skills and future employment is something that Andhra Pradesh is looking at it very, very seriously. There's a lot of lesson that we have learned today, and of course, the rest of the nation would also learn. So I want to really thank you for spending time with us and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you, Santhi, and Primus team for having me. Yes, this has been one of the major initiatives, not just in Andhra Pradesh, but all these progressive states are actually looking at education as the key development issue when they're going for the polls. So this is what any CM is trying to portray. This is what I've done in the last 5 years in the forefront of education. So I hope the country as a whole will take this as an initiative, because to implement NEP, the budgets that we should be requiring is around 6% of the GDP. And I think, I hope in the coming years there will be a big push on the union government as well to increase the budgets, not just putting all the burden on the state governments and just giving a vision document like NEP and forcing them to implement it, rather than just putting it to them. I hope both the state and union comes together and actually chip in this amount of money. Otherwise, as a knowledge economy that we are going to go in the next few years, and also with the young population that we have, I think that's where we should be investing. I hope we will be investing there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.